Right, here we go again. The Ricky Gervais Guide to the English. The English. I'm having some memories now, and I am sure already that there have been bits of this used, because I remember in the animated they talked about something about the English. But let's see. 3 simple rules for this reaction will be, I don't know. Okay, so just let go. I like this. Now, this music fits the theme for this episode.
To be born English is to win first prize in the lottery of life. So said Cecil Rhodes, one of the grandfathers of British imperialism. At its height, the British Empire ruled over 1/4 of the world's population and consequently exported Englishness to the furthest reaches of the globe. But what is Englishness? Is it stiff upper lips and fair play, village greens and tea and crumpets? And who are the English? Are we defined by a shared heritage, a common set of beliefs, by the language of Shakespeare? Or in a multicultural modern age, when more languages are spoken in England than in any other country in Europe, do we need to develop a new view of what it means to be English? To discuss and define the nature and characteristics of the English, I'm joined by Stephen Merchant, graduate of the University of Warwick, an award-winning writer.
Thank you for having me.
And Karl Pilkington, a man who, by his own admission, didn't go to school, has no qualifications.
Mention the head, talk about the head.
I'm just trying to get to the point that he's not qualified in anything, or really has no authority in any subject, or hasn't got the right to it.
Talk about the head.
And he was known the world over as a man who has a head like a fucking orange.
Alright.
I think one thing that's very English is harping back and whinging combined. People saying, oh, England used to be better in my day, oh, England was better when I was a kid, England was better in the 50s or whatever. Karl, do you think England's better now? Are you happier now than you were when you were a kid?
Do you feel that life was better in, say, the 1950s?
I don't know, I wasn't around. So
but you understand what it was like in those days? You've seen happy days.
I don't know, people always say, don't they? Old people always say, oh, you know, it's a better life in the 50s. And he's like, yeah, it was for them. Of course it was for them. They're old now. Being old isn't great, is it? So you're just happy with your lot. I suppose I was happiest in about 1984.
Right, specifically. Why? Why was that?
It was just I was free and happy.
How old were you?
I don't know. 22.
Oh, God.
He's just counting on his fingers now.
12.
Oh,
Right, okay.
And it was just good.
So the happiest days of your life were between the age of 12 and 13?
Yeah, it was good. I had the world ahead of me.
Little did you know your hair was going to fall out and you were going to whinge every minute of the day.
I had my bike.
You know what? I was going to say something. I mean, they talked about whinging, and then they took it straight to Karl, and I was like, that's the expert, right? That is the foremost authority on whinging. I mean, he must be, out of the 3 of them, he is the most English. I mean, Gervais is not even... Gervais sounds French to me. That doesn't sound like a English name. Merchant, yes, but still, I think Karl is the English. Yeah, and also, oh my God, did he really just say he was happy for 1 year of his life, from 12 to 13, and he had the world ahead of him only when he was 12 to 13? What the hell happened? Fuck. God, that's sad. 12 to 13, and I mean, he didn't even reach. God, you know what? Let him talk. Let him talk. I'm sure he's gonna say more. Whatever.
I like messing about my bike. You had your mates. I had a pet magpie.
So you were probably the teenager that you eventually hate?
Probably.
Were you a good lad, law-abiding?
I wasn't bad. I just sort of, you know, just potted about. I mean, when people talk about what was on the telly back then, I don't have that much memory of it, because I was always out. I was always playing out.
What were you doing when you were out?
Just playing about, just like on a bike or...
Just riding in a circle endlessly. Blizzards,
I loved it.
Rain, sleet, hail.
I never seemed to be in. I was always... When everyone always goes, where were you when Band-Aid was happening? I was always out on my bike. And everything was
like you and McGregor?
A memory's always sort of like coming in for some orange and looking at the telly and seeing Princess Diana's getting married, and my mum says, have you seen this? And I'm going, oh, I'm going out on my bike. I was always doing that. The whole time I was in the house.
This is why you don't know anything, because you never stopped.
Yeah, but this is what being a kid's about.
But
That's
all
what I
the
mean, being
information
free.
you have, Carl, is as though you've gleaned it as you raced by on a bike. It's almost like, you know, every piece of information you have.
Your hair blowing in the wind. Can't
Yeah,
you blow out one day? Oh, don't talk stupid, ma'am.
So yeah, 12 to 13 was good.
But you see,
And it's all downhill from then, was it?
13 is your teenager then, aren't you? Life got tough.
Yeah. How did it get tough?
Just straight away when I was 13, my mum was like, you know, oh, it's your 13th birthday, you're a teenager now.
Right.
And she gave us a quid to go and get a cake to celebrate it. Went to the supermarket, got a cake, and I just thought, I don't like the look of this. I don't like the look of the way the future is here.
On his 13th birthday!
well, you were buying a cake. What did you see at the supermarket?
Just, it was kind of like, I don't know, I suddenly felt grown up. I didn't like it.
But I think you were always about 58, really, with your outlook.
Well, yeah, my mum always said I was old. She said I was an old baby. She said I could frown before I could walk. So they always had a bit of a worried look on my face.
Still does.
Didn't say much, just always listened. My eyes moved about more than I did. Just sat there looking around, looking stressed.
The eyes moved around.
My eyes moved about more than I did. Oh dear, couldn't walk. Well, I can't walk, but I'll try and get a bit of movement in my face. It's a workout, a baby workout. Oh, babies, well, if you can't walk, what about your face? Let your face do the walking.
It sounds like that horror film. It sounds like Pilkington's Baby.
Yeah.
Just you lying there in your cot.
I didn't like all the stuff that's set up for you. Like, my mum tried to send me to, like, a nursery. I said, no, I'm not having this.
Just like that.
So when I'm older and I've got to go, I'll go, but let's leave out this bit. And she said, all right.
I love the fact he could reason with her. I love if he's 3 years old with a pipe. She's going, you're going to nursery. She goes, I think not, Mum.
I mean, kids don't play out, do they?
But today?
Kids, you know, parents are scared to let the kids play out, and that's why the streets are dangerous now. Because no one's playing out on the streets. Whereas when I was a kid, everyone was out on the streets were safe.
Hold on a second, but that's kind of backwards logic. I mean, what am I saying? It's Carl. It's Carl logic, you know. I mean, I thought the point, like the whole reason why the kids are not playing out anymore is because the streets already are not safe, right? Like that would be the reason. It's not like the kids start going out, so all of a sudden the criminals came out of, you know, criminals came out and said like, oh look, there are no kids, we can be criminals now. Like what? No. Like I'm assuming the more logical explanation is that like just neighborhoods, communities, you know, in general became more worse. They just became worse. So to the point where a lot of you know, parents just telling their kids don't go out and don't play. Also, parents are getting worse because a lot of them are like they're overdoing it a bit. Like, okay, your kid is not that special. Like, he can fucking play in the street for like an hour. Give me a break. Moving on.
Because there was more people knocking about.
Right.
Let the kids play out.
It must be like a constant, like a Larry painting, his front garden, do you know what I mean? Just loads of people just
there was
walking
never any
around.
problems. I was sort of taken away by some fella.
What?
Taken away by some fella?
No, I was playing about in the garden.
Yeah,
But my dad's mate, Tony,
yeah.
he did tiling with him. He drove past. And he saw me looking a bit fed up, so he just leant over, picked me up, took me to the pub. Now the thing is, there wasn't panic. People weren't going, oh God, where's Carl gone?
He's out.
Just
How old were you?
He's down the pub.
Yeah,
He's 4 years old, yeah. Well, he's only having a
He's down the pub with Tony, probably playing darts.
Yeah, I was about 3 or 4.
Sorry, so some bloke drives by who happens to be a friend of your dad's, thinks that baby looks grumpy.
Yeah.
I'm taking him down to
But
the pub.
that's what it was
Tony,
like.
That
you
is
bringing a
what it
baby
was
to the
like.
pub? Yeah, I might do. Yeah, we're all bringing ours. All right, see you later, mate.
But that's what I'm saying. Whereas now they go, the baby's gone. There's a big full-on panic going
Yeah,
on.
but I think it says more about your parents that they didn't do that. They looked over the back car and you were gone. Some bloke's driving off in a van. They're just going, oh, well, doesn't Princess Diana look lovely?
That's true. But I think Carl's point is valid here. That must have been how their area was like, where it's like, yeah, Carl is gone, we can't see him, but we know he's safe. It must have been something like that in those days. Like, they wouldn't just all of a sudden give up on Carl. Oh, God. Oh.
This is absurd. So what happened when you got down the pub?
I just was there for a bit, and then
For a bit, just had a game of pool.
then my dad came in. He was like, "Oh, there you are."
Oh, there you are! I love that! Oh, where's my baby? Go in the door, I'm just going to have a quick pint out. Oh, there you are. All right, mate.
So, yeah, I think things were better back then.
Rick, as you hinted at in your introduction, the idea of Englishness and England, it's quite a vague term, isn't it? You can play loose and fast with it. I mean...
Alright, you know what? I gotta say this before they continue. Fuck the heat. Fuck the heat. More than the heat, fuck the humidity. The humidity, they actually said the humidity today in my country is 91%. 91%! Like, what's left? There's no air left, it's just the humidity now. Ah! And you can feel just like your, you can feel your face and your body is getting all sticky and okay. I just had to get that off my chest. Yeah, fuck the humidity. And yeah, I need my glasses, goddammit. What am I trying to look at actually? I'm just looking at Carl and Steve and Ricky staring at a book, reading a book. So, you know what? Fuck this. Moving on.
For instance, I was looking at some quotes about England, and John Major, former Prime Minister, he typified England as being a place of long shadows on county cricket grounds, warm beer, invincible green
Not all of
suburbs,
it,
dog lovers, and old maids bicycling through the morning mist. Very specific vision of England.
But he never came to the estate that I was born on, or Carl was. You know what I mean? I think I know of that. If we go for a walk around Richmond, we see people playing cricket on the village green, and it's lovely. But I don't know if it's typical. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know where most people live. But in a way, it's probably 50-50, isn't it, in cities and in the country? But that's wealthy country.
But that's, interestingly, that's the vision of England that people like to subscribe to. When you buy your nan a box of biscuits for Christmas from Harrods, that's the image of England that's on the front.
Why am I spending money at Harrods on my nan? Why can't I just... She's happy with sort of like broken custard creams.
You've earned a bit of money now.
Well, I know, but they don't need to know that. I mean, also, both my grandmothers are dead, so it'd be...
Sorry to have brought that up.
Well, no, but I mean, who buys who spends good money at Harrods on biscuits where she just suck them and eat the Garibaldis and leave I mean, I don't know why I'm wasting money.
Hold on. You don't know who? Really? Everybody who has the money to spend. I mean, really, obviously, Harrods isn't going to be around for so long if they weren't bringing in the money. I'm sure they're making a lot of money. And yes, they are overpriced. And yes, there are people buying. I mean, sometimes it's like, if you're buying a gift, of course. I mean, if you're going to buy chocolate, you're going to buy the expensive chocolate. You're not going to buy, Mars bar, Carl's Twix, give it to old people. No, it doesn't happen, right? Like, you're going to get something really, some ooh-la-la fancy Swiss chocolate kind of thing. And yeah, that's the point of the gift. Is it's supposed to be, like you spent a little bit of money on it. He doesn't know that? I mean, what the hell? Okay, moving on.
On the elderly.
I worry that you've taken that too literally. I was trying to get to making more of a point, like an analogy, but I don't shop at Harrods.
Right.
I mean, I might, get some Easter eggs.
Steve doesn't.
2 days after Easter.
Well, what do you think of this then? We were in Fortnum & Mason's after Christmas, and all the crackers were half price.
Good idea.
And there was a box of crackers for 500 quid, down to 250 quid. And I thought, right, that's got to be the best prizes anyone's ever seen. I'm going to get Cartier watches in these things. So we bought 250 quid. I thought, oh, it's a bargain, it's half price. Got them home, pulled a couple, and there was a little notebook, right, that said wine notes. That's one.
What?
Wine notes. So you drink a bottle of wine and go...
you make a note.
Make a note of it, right? There was another one that had something that it was like opera notes or something. And then there was one for travel notes, like what countries you've been. I'm thinking, what world are these crackers for? Who's putting a cracker and going, I need it? I filled up my wine notebook. It's like...
500 quid?
Yeah. I mean,
for some little notebooks.
Yeah, I mean, if you'd have paid 500 quid, I mean, I don't know who buys those. I assume they're for presents.
And it's probably the absurd, cliched Toffington Englishman, who has no sense anymore of what of any sense of worth of anything, and it's just a crazy, you know, snotty-nosed inbreeding.
There was a silver-plated like mussel, you know, like the clam, the mussel, right? You know when you eat mussels, you scoop them out with an open mussel.
Sure.
This was a silver-plated one.
Who carries that with them?
You get that out. You go, oh, mussels, good. I brought it with me, my silver-plated mussel to eat mussels.
Wait, this wine's delicious. Let me make a note. That's absurd. Again, it's interesting you said that, because those are little images of what we would like England to be, aren't they? They're pandering to that image of what we'd all like to be, that sort of upper-class English person who's worried about fine wine and good food. And again, I mean, does this England still exist? I'm presuming there's a small minority that does. But
well, there are some people that are in that world that are posher than the royal family.
Yeah.
You know, I can understand what the Queen and Prince Charles are saying, but there are some people... What? And I don't know what they're talking about either.
Well, I was never really aware of class and the English class system until I went to university.
Absolutely.
I became aware of it then.
Absolutely right. When I got to university and everyone sort of spoke like royalty, that's when I discovered I was probably working class.
But when I hear those people who do actually speak in that kind of, oh, Jeff, you know, that sort of absurd, oh, rugger, oh, you absolute bloody bastard.
You know what, though? I don't mind the mega posh people. I don't mind that. Yeah, bloody hell, yeah, of course, take one. Take it. You know, I don't mind one of those. What I don't like is the ones that stand around in all bar one with a rugby shirt with a collar up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those sort of, who are going to work in the city, and then...
I have a question for the people who are British, you know, people who are living in England. Is the types that they are talking about, are they still there? Because this is from like 2000 and I'm gonna guess 2000 and... Ooh, this is not XFM. I don't know what year this is actually, but it was after XFM, so 2000 and... I'm gonna say, I don't know, 5? Maybe 2005, maybe, something like that. But are those like, you know, those types of, let's say, I don't even know how to describe them, but the types they were talking about, are they still there? The British that are, the cliche British, that are like, the ones that I saw on TV, are they really still there, or is they like a, you know, like a relic of the past now? Because the last one I saw, like in the news, that is actually like that was, what's the name? I think it was the ex-prime minister, the one who was like the British. They compared him, saying like he's like the British Trump. Yeah, Boris Johnson. That's the one. Yeah, that's the only, you know, example I have of a person, an English person who speaks like that. I don't know any others. The others are like, you know, like you know, like it's Ricky and Stephen Merchant and, you know, and the guys from Top Gear. I mean, who else? You know, like this is usually the British that I hear. But the Boris Johnson type, I haven't found any. So it's like, have they gone extinct or what? Like, are they still with us? Because that's a pretty old, you know. Like I feel like the Sherlock Holmes types. But I don't know even this. I don't know. Someone let me know, please. Moving on.
Loud and think they're gentry,
yeah,
but they're not. It's that middle bit that annoys me more. They've got that confidence, but without any of the charm.
But that's the England that I think people think of when they think of it. It's the 4 weddings and a funeral England, and yet it's not the England I experienced and grew up in. So, what is your typical image of an Englishman now?
If I had to draw it for an alien,
yeah,
he'd be quite squat. Quite sturdy, sort of no neck, hairy.
Are you just thinking of yourself?
Do you know what? It would be my build with Carl's head.
Really?
And no neck, yeah. I think he's sort of balding and unshaven, and he's like a shaved caveman. I think he's tough, he'd have tats, he'd eat like a dog.
A Ray Winston type.
A sort of, yeah, that sort of, Bob Hoskins, just squat, strong, tough, doesn't take any messing, built like a giant wombat.
It's the bulldog breed.
It is the bulldog breed. I am thinking of the bulldog breed, yeah.
See, now my image of an Englishman is essentially that cliched one. It is, I think, Hugh Grant.
So you're modern, you're straight away modern now.
I would say it's either mixed between Hugh Grant and Roger Moore when he was James Bond.
You see,
know what I mean?
that's another small percentage of Englishness that sort of annoys me. Those people that think they're James Bond. They think they can buy a suit and read GQ, and they're suave and sophisticated, and they get cars they can't afford. Or what they basically do, the people who think they're James Bond, all they do is work in a bank, come home, and flick through GQ at the adverts, looking at people with wearing watches and aftershave. Who wears aftershave?
Do you wear aftershave, Karl?
Normally, aftershave is the sort of thing I let other people buy me. It's like underpants, tea towels, and sort of aftershave and that. Other people buy me.
Who's buying you tea towels?
My mum.
Right, okay.
Every time she turns up, she's got Brilla pads and stuff. I've got loads of them. I keep saying to her, I don't need any of this, but she always brings a box full of stuff. Brilla pads, tea towels, underpants. The underpants size hasn't gone up since I was 14. But I can rely on her for that.
So do you not have anything in your life which you would think of as being gentlemanly? Do you ever dress smartly? What about suits?
No, he
I
doesn't.
bought one
Karl.
suit that time when you invited me to the BAFTAs. That's the only suit. I wore it for the BAFTAs. I think I wore it for one other thing.
remember.
I haven't wore it since.
$600.
I don't feel comfortable. It's not me.
But don't you go to a
That'd be a
wedding?
lovely advert, wouldn't it? Him with a suit on going, I haven't wore it since. Karl Pilkington hasn't wore it since.
I remember that. So it was. I remember he said something like it cost £600 or something like that. I could not forget it. I cannot forget him talking about that suit because it's just such a like. It's almost as if he finally got a solid reason to buy a suit. Going to the BAFTAs, he probably knew it was like a once in a lifetime thing. Yeah, I mean, Karl knows Karl, right? He probably knew he's gonna go to the BAFTAs once, and then he's gonna say, "I did it. I've gone to the BAFTAs. I don't need to go again." You know, so it's like, okay, let's buy the suit for that one, one visit to the BAFTAs.
I don't
must
go
have
to
been to a
weddings.
wedding.
No, I don't like going to them.
I agree.
I mean, even though you know them, they don't give you any time when you're there, do they? They just sort of, they don't know whether you're there or not. They're on cloud nine. They don't know who's around. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. You don't need
It's
to
all
be there.
with them on a wedding day. It's all me, isn't it?
Oh, what are they like?
I know, unbelievable.
You don't even get to make a speech, do you?
Although I know you were annoyed, Steve. Steve doesn't like to part with money. I don't know what the politically correct term is. Stingy cunt, isn't he?
Stingy.
He's
Stingy,
fucking mean, right? And if he ever has to spend out on like a wedding gift to someone he's known, you know, all his life, he'll look down the list and he'll find things under £25. Then if he bothers spending that much, he's furious when an usher goes, just stick it there.
Oh, it drives me insane. Well, firstly, I'm annoyed about the wedding list. I don't know when that's come along, because I don't know why I can't just bring maybe something I've made at home. Why has there got to be a list of stuff?
What newly married bride doesn't want a pair of homemade clogs?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
And then you arrive there and it's just, oh, thanks very much, stick it on the table. But saying that, I think people very much appreciate you being at their wedding.
No,
They do. They remember if you were there.
No, they don't.
They do.
They don't.
You don't get invited to
they
it because you ain't got any
do. They
mates.
must.
No, I've got to know enough people. Everyone's getting married. But they're always in the middle of nowhere.
That annoys me when people say, you come to our wedding? Yeah, fine, we're in Greece.
Yeah.
Well, no, down the road, I might make it down the road for the reception.
Yeah.
Go to Greece. What? You want me to book a holiday and come to your wedding?
Well, the thing that drives me insane when you do go is when they put you on a table with people you don't know.
Well, that's
I've got
it.
all my mates there, and they put because I got to mingle with some people. I don't care. I need these.
But that's what I'm not good at. Talking to people once. Talking to people who you don't know.
No.
What sort of stuff would you make conversation about at a wedding?
I'd probably say, first of all, how do you know them? How do you know the people getting married? And then, like, you know, do you think it'll last?
Imagine inviting Karl Pilkington to wedding and going, where should we put him? Oh, I don't know. Is there a table for one? Oh, just
You'd be on the table with the kids.
Imagine being stuck with Karl Pilkington at a wedding. Yeah, what else? So you've asked him to...
Ah, damn. Okay, you know what? That is quite a scenario, because you know what? He's not going to say anything pleasant. He's not going to say anything positive. And God help the bride and groom if they talk to him. Really. He's just going to destroy the vibe in that wedding. Why is he so miserable? Like, since 12. He literally said the last time he was happy, he was 12 years old. Oh, damn. Can you only imagine what he's gonna say in the wedding? It's like he's gonna. He already said he looks gonna last. It's like gonna last. You haven't even finished the night yet. It's like asking. Oh. Oh God, it depresses me. It depresses me. I don't want to think like Karl. Let's just let him. I just, I don't want to think like Karl. I don't even want to imagine what he's gonna say. Moving on.
Think it'll last. They've gone, I'm sorry? Who are you? Karlpilkington from Manchester. Right. Yes, we think it'll last. What else would you ask? So what's your next? You know it's going badly. They're sort of like looking down their nose at you. They're thinking, why did they invite this bald-headed scum?
The last wedding I went to, it's going back a couple of years, but everyone seems a bit snidey. Do you know what I mean? Because you've got a mixture of families there, haven't you?
Yeah.
And none of them really like each other. No. And I got stuck with an old fella who had a flatulence problem.
Oh, it's fun.
And then he went on to say it doesn't matter, the suit's hired. And it's just kind of...
I'm gonna die! I love it. He's basically saying at a wedding, it doesn't matter if I shit myself. Oh.
Wait, I don't even know what this segment is about. They started talking about the English. Why are they talking about weddings? I don't even remember how it came. What did they say that it made it about weddings? I remember they were saying something about Stephen Merchant was being stingy, and it's like I don't remember even how they got there. It's ridiculous, but. How does he do it? It's like God, it's a gift. It's a gift even for Ricky and Steve to do this. Honestly, how do they know how to navigate those conversations to get Karl to say those things? Because that's amazing. That's just amazing. Oh.
To be born English is to win first prize in the lottery of life. So what do you think of that, Karl?
Maybe it's that thing that I don't appreciate what I've got. But to me, being English isn't anything that great.
Really?
Why not?
Because it's just what I've been dealt with.
But what would you, I mean, I know you know nothing about the world.
You've travelled nowhere. You've seen nothing.
Yeah.
That changed now.
But if you could be any nationality, what would you be and why?
Probably be Italian.
Okay. Why?
Well, just yeah, I like the idea of it. I like Italians are alright.
Where would you live? Rome?
I probably wouldn't want to be in the middle of Rome. It's too much hassle.
Have you been to Rome?
Yeah, it's nice to visit and stuff, but it's just I wouldn't want to live there. You've got to get paperwork done and that if you just want to put a picture up, because everything's old, everything's listed.
He's only been Italian about 3 minutes and he's already slacking it off.
No, but I like Rome.
Yeah.
It's good. A lot of old stuff.
Why have you chosen Italy? I'm interested to know why of all the countries you've chosen Italy.
I was a late comer to pasta.
But it's won you round.
I like it now. It's like one of my favourite things I have. Which there isn't really anything like that in England. That even though
except
pasta in England.
Pasta's almost exactly like it.
Yeah,
no, but
we've got pasta, haven't
it's
we?
not ours though, is it? And we don't know how to eat it.
What do you mean we don't know how to eat it?
We do it all wrong.
You stick it up your arse again.
Look at me, I know how to fucking eat it.
No.
Did you stick it up your arse again? God, you threw that in there. My wife told me something about pasta, actually. Speaking of that, so it was something about something called Tatsiani pasta, I think. I mean, she told me the story of how it was invented and everything, and it's I mean, it is an Italian thing, I would say. I mean, I kind of get his point. Like, okay, they must have pasta. Maybe he means they don't have authentic. They don't have authentic Italian pasta in the UK. I find even that hard to believe. They must have somewhere. I mean, I don't know. I feel like he just hasn't looked in the right places, and he just tried some pasta, and it's not the same, obviously. You're gonna have to find the right places. Granted, in Italy, probably can find it all over Italy. It kind of has a point, I guess. But yeah, I mean, you stick it up your ass again. Wow. Okay, that's one way to eat pasta, I guess.
But what I mean is, if you saw a proper Italian, and they saw what we did to pasta, they would not be happy.
What are we doing wrong? Tell me what we're doing wrong.
Well, I
with
don't
pasta.
know that, otherwise we wouldn't be doing it wrong.
How do you know we're doing it wrong?
I've just heard we do it wrong. It's like how we have the coffee at all the wrong times. I ordered a cappuccino somewhere, and the Italian fella said you shouldn't be having that now. It's a breakfast coffee.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, before 12 o'clock.
Yeah, but I was having it at like 11:15 at night.
Oh,
It looked
wow.
like I
Well,
was
that's
mental.
absurd. How are you going to get to sleep with a lovely cup of coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Well,
good
I don't
point.
sleep anyway.
You
do
shouldn't
I?
drink coffee anyway at night.
Yeah.
There was cappuccino
No,
or
no,
frappuccino or mocha. Doesn't matter. Don't drink coffee after about 4 in the afternoon anyway. Full stop.
So hang on. So you love pasta, but you're not eating it right. So you'd like to be Italian in order to be able to eat pasta correctly, even though you enjoy the pasta you eat.
What do you feel being Italian is, and what's
It's just,
attractive
it's
to
just
being?
very sort of, it's a relaxed lifestyle. Whenever you go to Italy, everyone's sat outside a cafe. It doesn't matter what sort of person you
Oh,
are.
that's all you do now with your spare time is sit
Yes.
outside a cafe.
But they get more respect over there. For
Why?
it. It's like, it's okay to do that. There's older people sat outside cafes who do nothing.
I
and it's
love the
just
fact that he
they're
wants to
probably
be
retired.
Italian so he can sit outside a cafe and get more respect than he does now sitting outside a cafe.
No, but everyone's rushing about here. People have like colder coffee. They have frappuccinos here because they haven't got time to have a hot coffee. It's like they've got a coffee with ice in so I can neck it. Get it down my neck and get on with my day. Relax, enjoy your coffee. I don't understand the rush.
You never enjoy anything. You said that you don't enjoy anything. You don't enjoy a coffee. When you're having a coffee, you're probably going, oh, I don't know if I can enjoy it yet, in retrospect. And tomorrow I'll go, I like that coffee yesterday.
But the reason you enjoy Italy is because when you were there, you're on holiday. That's why you're able to chill out and
No,
relax.
no.
When you say it's old people sat in some little Sicilian village. Of course they got no money.
Here, I went to the Salvation Army.
Right.
Why?
Because it's nice.
What do you mean?
You can get toast and a cup of tea for £1.
Go, you little skinflint.
Right.
You little roundy
There's
heady
nothing
skinflint.
skinflinty about that. That's just that should be the going rate, Steve. I'm surprised I haven't seen you in there, to be honest. But the thing is,
Where is
now, just near Camden.
What is it? Is it like old people?
A lot of old people, mainly old people. And this is what I'm saying. These are people who are old and they sat in a cafe, but they don't get any respect. People are walking past and they don't want to go in. The way you reacted when I said I was in the Salvation Army, that's the reaction they get. Yet an old Italian person, they looked after better.
Well, it's certainly true they look after their older families, don't they? They
Right,
do
and
respect
that's
their
all I'm
families.
saying. Whereas, I mean, it's a lovely place, Salvation Army. Every old fella in there's got a tie on.
Yeah.
They make an effort.
That chokes me when I see an old boy still put a shirt and tie on. He's 90. He's like been through hardship, and yet on a Sunday they're still shining their shoes, and you know what I mean.
I mean, you sometimes can't even bother to put your trousers on a
No,
Sunday.
no. I've got an elasticated waistband,
Yeah.
and they're still fiddling with braces and buttons.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, that's what I like about Italians and that. There's a lot of
So you want to be
Respect.
Italian because when you're old, you can sit outside a cafe and get more respect than you do here.
yeah. Look at the old people in this country. They never look happy, do they? Really. Most of the time, when you see them walking around, they go to pot. No one's keeping an eye on them.
Well, it's an important thing, isn't it? That my mum, this is when she was about 60, 65. There was a neighbour who was like, 85, 90, and again completely alone. And my mum used to go on there every day. Do you want any shopping? Do it, right? She was good for her. She was like her witness in the world, to her existence. But I remember calling her once, and she'd come back. I said, "What are we doing?" She went, "Oh, I've been round so and so." So I went, "All right." She went, "Oh, she won't die, Rick." Like she's helping her, but she's thinking this is getting silly now. You were meant to go years ago here. I was like,
Well, that's the problem, If you get pally with an old person,
Yeah.
then you could be stuck with them for years.
and having to do stuff, that's what you don't want to do, isn't it? You meet an old, an old fella, and then you've got to start popping in his sort of piles or whatever when he can't do them himself. What do you do if you're?
It depends how friendly you are, though. I mean, I'm just talking about someone you meet at the bus stop, as opposed to popping the piles back in. How does that happen? Jesus. Just the ones on the estate I grew up on. As soon as he got to a certain age, there was Mrs. Knowles who went mental. One day she seemed fine, next day she was chucking cans in everyone's garden. You could just hear her coming. which was weird. Actually, now you brought up weird people. There was a fellow called Shorts Man. Right?
Yeah,
So pedestrian! I love that.
Shorts man wore some shorts.
Now, what I like, yeah, he did, but they were really short. They were that sort where, you know, it's almost pointless having them on.
What do you mean?
They were just, you know, like shorts now for blokes. They go up to your knees, don't they? There's no chance. There's no accident happening there. There's nothing going to pop out.
Yeah.
No.
But Shorts Man, he liked it. He liked the fact that happened. And he used to walk with big strides to sort of help the chance along. So that he knew, with the big strides and the short shorts,
Yeah.
they were going to pop out.
Did you ever see it pop out?
Yeah.
Why were you
everyone
looking at
did.
the shorts?
Here we go.
Just because it was like playing Buckaroo. It was like, when are they going to pop out?
But what?
It's just what happened.
So, right, but Shorts man, so he was an exhibitionist. He basically wanted people to see his veg.
Yeah. And they were out more than they were in. I mean, they had a tan.
Ah!
Now the thing is, what we like in England, I think we like that. We like local characters.
The eccentric.
Yeah.
Eccentric's that's very British. Eccentric, yeah.
I'm glad I grew up round there with all them people because
So
they're
am I.
interesting.
Well, there is a certain.
I was gonna say something. It's like, imagine comparing Shorts Man to the type that they mentioned earlier in this episode. Like, that is insane. Ah, God, that is insane. Oh, I wish Karl would just, one of these days, would just write a whole book just about his neighborhood. I swear, it is endless. Endless. I bet there are characters he hasn't even mentioned. Oh, Shorts Man. There's balls out of 10. Imagine you thinking about like this episode started off with like the Hugh Grant and the James Bond and the Winston Churchill time, and then we get to go to Shorts Man. Oh, leave it to Karl to do that.
Mindset about the great English, certainly the older English people.
Oh.
I mean, my grandparents are, my grandfather died recently, but they're amazing, kind of eccentric, very English, seemingly no friends from what I can identify. I don't know if this is unique to them or true of a lot of English people, older people, terrified of what the neighbours might say. Always did that thing of speaking like that in case what Jack's in next door.
Yeah.
Like the neighbours are constantly listening in.
Yeah.
They've got glasses against the wall. They're constantly listening into what my gran's got to say.
Yeah.
They had about 3 teeth between them. It was extraordinary. My grandfather had a plate of false teeth during the war that had a wooden pallet. A wooden upper pallet with teeth on it, and those teeth slowly fell off during the course of the years. Never got replaced. So they'd sort of invite you to Sunday roast, and they would wake up at 6 in the morning to put the beef on, and they wouldn't have it till 6 in the evening. They would cook it. The biggest compliment you could have if you made some food for my gran, if it was some beef, would be, "Oh, you're so lovely, this, so tender, you can suck it away."
Yeah.
If you could suck your Sunday roast through a straw, she was happy.
Well, she didn't have any teeth.
Right, exactly. Basically, they got to about the age of 60 or something, and it was as though they were just waiting to die. It was strange. They lived for my grandfather lived for at least another 25 years. So it was, you must have been gutted. But when my father needed a winter coat, a big heavy winter coat, and he was thinking of buying one, and my gran said, "Oh, don't worry about that, Ron. You can have your father's winter coat." And he said, "Well, but he's still alive. What do you talk about? He needs it winter coat." She went, "No, he'll be dead soon. Just don't, silly to waste it. Seems to waste it, just wait." My father must have been waiting 10 years for that winter coat.
I love the fact he waited. You can see where Steve got it from.
Of course he
waiting.
did. Stupid, I'm waiting now.
Steve, you must be freezing.
I am cold, but I'll tell you, it's a lovely coat.
In English society, traditionally and now, is manners. I mean, obviously manners change, but what is etiquette? What is good manners? I think that a lot of that has been lost.
Well, yes, and a big part of that is football hooligans. That's universal. That is all over the world. That is internationally recognized. English fans, football fans, fucking crazy, really. I mean, there are also others, like South America and some other countries and areas in the world. But I think the English football fans, they kind of claimed it, Like hooliganism is kind of like their thing. I don't know how it, if it started there. I don't know if they're the ones who did it more than the others, but traditionally, like that kind of behavior has been associated with English football fans. So yeah, the manners thing, yeah, I mean a big part of that goes out the window because of that.
Well, I was thinking the other day, have you ever heard of the finishing school?
Yeah,
Carl?
yeah, of course.
Do you know that?
No.
The idea is that, you know, the sort of gentrified ladies, after they finished their education, they would go to finishing school, where they would literally be taught, you know, how
What, knives and forks, walking with a book on your head, just things like that, what to say.
I mean, that's
I mean, it's like a year of being Eliza Doolittle, isn't it? Don't put your elbows on the table. You start from outwards, going inwards with cutlery. You know, you eat soup, the spoon goes away. There's things like the fork. You're never meant to face those prongs up. So you either stab your peas, or you know.
There's ways of eating soup. You know, the spoon needs to be moving away from you.
Yeah.
And scooping it up and bring it back to your mouth. I mean, it's crazy, but, you know, the people that subscribe to that stuff would look at the way you live your life, the way you eat your food, Carl, and would be appalled.
Yeah, but
in the same way we think that's absurd, they would think you're a disgrace.
But as long as you're enjoying it.
No, they would say no.
Well, no, there are certain things that I can't stand. I can't stand eating with the mouth open. I think that's rude. I banned chewing gum on the set of a film because I think it's rude. I think it's rude. Those people who stand there talking, yeah,
but we all know you're a preposterous hypocrite. I mean, the way you eat food, come on.
No, I don't eat with my mouth open. I don't. I do eat with just my right hand, smash it and scoop it in. But I see nothing wrong with that.
I would say it was slightly rude when you're ordering the bill and getting up to leave when I'm still finishing my main course.
Yeah.
We did that as well. Oh, okay. That's. But I was gonna say also, this is you know. He bans the chewing gum on his set. This is from the guy who put toilet paper in his mouth in the XFM, during that XFM show. Like he literally put toilet paper in his mouth. So I don't know what's more disgusting, like chewing gum or toilet paper. Yeah.
I'd say there was a touch of rudeness.
But I go
about
into a
that.
restaurant to eat.
Yeah, but you're supposed to wait when you're with the other people and let them finish as well.
This is my ideal restaurant. It is empty. They know what I want, and it's waiting for me when I walk in. I leave, still chewing, and I go put it on my bill. That's the ideal restaurant for me.
Yeah, you're pretty much there.
Yeah, I try and that's what I try and do. Yeah, but you know, there are certain things. I am one for manners. I think I hate rudeness. I hate lateness. I hate all those things. But some of them are ridiculous. The elbows on the table is arbitrary. Why? I mean, there's a reason you say please and thank you, because it shows courtesy. Those make sense. There's a reason you don't talk when you're eating, because it goes over and it's disgusting. There's a reason you don't lick your fingers and then put it back in the chips, because someone else has got to share that. But don't put your elbows on the table or start with that fork. I think it's ludicrous.
You know, there's those rules when you meet a member of the royal family. For instance, if you were at the Royal Variety Performance and you met the Queen, there's various rules they tell you about.
You don't fart, I'll call her love.
Exactly, for one. But also, you don't speak until you're spoken to. You have to do a slight bow.
I was invited to the palace a couple of times. The first time was after the office sort of broke, and I got an invite. Company of Her Majesty the Queen would like you to come to one of those dinner parties, and I know what you're thinking. Why didn't you get one?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Well, wait. I was a big shot quicker than you because I was in it. Don't forget, you didn't appear until series 2.
If we'd split the atom, they would invite both of us.
I know.
Not just the guy who does the press conference.
So the thing came through, and I thought, oh, I didn't. I was worried about it, to be honest. But it just said, I will be attending, I will not be attending. Tick the box. And I couldn't bear to just tick, I will not be attending, because it was too harsh. So there was an RSPV number, and I phoned up, and it was obviously the head of the house, or a butler, or I don't know, someone, and he went, hello, Buckingham Palace. And I said, hello, it's Ricky Gervais, I just got an invite to come and and I said, it sounds weird, but I couldn't bear to just tick, I will not be attending. He went, well, you're the first person ever to bother to do that. Thank you so much. I went, oh, my pleasure, sorry I can't make it. But don't you think that's weird?
It is strangely brutal.
It is strangely brutal, isn't it? I wonder if they've changed it by now.
Yeah, there's a little asterisk. Thanks to Ricky Gervais, it now says, I am too fat and lazy and busy eating cheese to visit your majesty.
What I think is this, that no one's ever ticked, I will not be attending.
Right, yeah.
So it was never a problem.
So why did you not want to go?
I don't know, I just thought it was a bit intense, and I turned down all those things. I think I would like to go now, just to look around.
Yeah.
I don't know, I just felt a bit funny, just being invited there. I was invited to all those things at the Downing Street as well, and I just thought, you're inviting me because I'm on the telly now, because I'm famous. Well, where was my invite when I was on the dole?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
With respect, I wouldn't have invited you.
Yeah, why would they?
Circa 1983.
No, I haven't got a problem with, you know, going to Palace or, except I do have a problem with sort of being wheeled around as a celebrity.
Because I used to think if I was ever invited to get given an MBE or a knighthood or something, I'd be like, nah, I'm not part of the system, you know, I'm a rebel, I'm outside. Now I think it would be quite cool.
Well, I only
to
think
be
it's a
called
problem
Sir
for a
Steve.
comedian, because, you know, we're sort of meant to dish it out, and it's difficult to dish it out if you're being seen.
What I do find weird is the idea of having to bow and scrape before people because I'm told to do that.
Well,
like, what I find is that idea of I'm obligated to be respectful to such a degree just because someone's the Queen. Like, obviously I'd always be respectful, but why can't I speak when she turns up? What I don't understand. That's I find a strange idea.
What would you say though?
Well, I just say, you know, honoured to meet you, Majesty. But you know, I don't understand why I can't initiate that. Why? If I
But I
find
don't
it
think she'd
weird.
mind that if you went honoured to meet you before she'd spoken. What she's going to say? She's going to go, cheeky cunt. I talks first, lanky. Karl, what do you think about all the pomp and circumstance around?
It's all alien. It's not for me. I don't like that sort of. I try and not put myself in the same sort of circles as posh people, because it's just it's like a different club, isn't it? It's like I said to you about young people and old people. There's such a different life going on. They say like the whale and the hippo are related. You never see them together. And it's the same with really posh, you know, well-off people and someone who's just getting on with their life.
But I mean, that's the thing that's changed as well. The stiff upper lip thing, that's out of the window now. I mean, it's like everyone's got a new addiction. Everyone's, oh, I'm addicted to drugs, alcohol. I'm addicted to sex. Not a problem. Have a wank. And everyone's got depression now.
Can you be addicted to sex if you're not getting any? Because if that's the case, then.
Oh dear.
Do you think there's a big difference, Karl, between the Englishman of yesteryear who didn't complain? I mean, he just got on with things. He might have whinged about the weather and the like, but he just got on with things.
He's carried an umbrella.
Yeah.
He
Whereas
didn't whinge about
nowadays,
anything.
people are getting their Prozac and their antidepressant pills, they're going into therapy.
Yeah, he kept out of stuff as well.
Wow.
Just there was a war and so and so. All right, they're coming this way. If they come over here, give them a slap. Why are we getting involved now in everything? Thoughts on that, Karl?
It's news now, innit? Sometimes I think, don't tell me, don't want to know. Just get on with it. Whoever's job that is, get on with it.
Yeah.
Why am I being told about it? When I've got a problem in my job, no one else knows. No one helps me out and goes, well, I've got an opinion for him.
No.
This might help him. No one helps me. But I'm being bombarded by everyone else's hassle. They love talking, actually. That's what the English do. Talking, but they never finalise it. They love just being in a meeting room, talking, saying, yeah, we could do this, we could do that. I'm the only one in that room not getting paid. Everyone else is on a wage. I'm there looking at my watch, thinking, right, I've been here for an hour and nothing's been sorted. They're looking, thinking we can drag this out for another half hour, get us to lunch. That's what annoys me. They're all sat there just pushing bullshit around the room like dung beetles. Sick of it. And that's what the English do. And it's a shame, because I don't think we used to be like that. I wish everybody just sort of kept to themselves more. Like, you know, certain animals do. Just get on with it. It's like an old-fashioned way.
What animals keep
Well,
themselves?
any animals keep themselves to themselves.
Like what?
I've said loads of things.
What animals keep themselves?
Badgers.
Why do they keep themselves?
No, they just whenever you've seen them just sort of wandering about a roadside, they're on their own.
Right.
They're not.
I thought he was going to say
what are they doing?
cartoons.
Pairs. I don't know. Most of the time they're dead. I've seen more dead badgers than alive ones. I've never seen a live badger.
I don't know what his point
So
was.
that's why they're one alone and two getting on with it.
That's all
I love it. Most
I
of
love
the time.
that it started off as some kind of poetic analogy. I don't know what that was.
Most of the time.
I just.
Oh God. I like this thing of the Englishman I knew growing up was you had to, when you hit a certain age, when you hit like manhood or puberty or whatever, 13, 14, 15, you had to start showing your mettle. Then the most important thing then was to well, the worst thing to be growing up was gay. That was like, you couldn't be gay. It couldn't be gay. Anything but gay. And then you had to be hard. You had to be tough. I remember, right, when I first started going to pubs, right, so I don't know, say 18, you walk into a toilet, the urinals, and the first thing everyone did was fart and gob.
Yeah.
That was it, right?
Yeah,
If you couldn't do that, then, you know, you get funny looks. You know, you go in the urinal, and they'd look at you and go, oh, sorry. It was all about, being a man. You know.
I think wearing glasses makes you slightly exempt from that. It's like you don't have to. People automatically dissociate. It's like if I was in prison, I wouldn't have to do that because I'd just be the professor. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly,
Friends.
yes.
I would.
Yeah.
They would.
They'd
I
come
wouldn't
to
need to
you
be
with
part of
the-
it. I'm never a threat because I never look like I'm going to be a tough guy. So consequently, I live in this sort of parallel stratosphere where I haven't got a piss and gob.
Yeah.
Has that got more popular?
Yes.
Has it?
Yeah.
There's a lot
What,
more people
gobbing?
doing it in the streets now.
Really?
It's
Not
like
in,
avoiding-
not in Hampstead.
It still is, you know. When I walk
The only
here,
person gobbing in Hampstead is me. Jane says, don't gob. People are looking.
Well, it is. It's your trail that I'm seeing then. It's like a load of sort of washed-up jellyfish in London. Just big blobs of it. I mean, I don't know how they're coughing this stuff up. I mean, they shouldn't still be alive. Some of them have, like, organs in them. It's just big lumps of stuff.
I mean, that list of idyllic, antiquated England of, you know, tea and cakes and cricket, I mean, is valid. But I think the things that sum up Englishness, I mean, talking of the weather, I think drinking, war.
Nobody talks about the weather.
We love a ruck.
Yeah.
We're built on war. We're a warrior
We're
race.
pretty good at war.
We are good.
We used to be good. I don't
Yeah,
know
no,
if
we're
it's
very
anymore.
good. We're good. We're
No,
very good.
anymore.
I mean, I think we reached our peak.
That
with
even the
Churchill.
Americans
Probably
don't
that's
really-
probably our greatest hour, our finest hour.
According to him,
Yeah. Well, he should know he was there.
he should know. And he'd like to drink, didn't he? He loved a brandy.
He's not afraid of a drink.
He'd
That's
like
a
to. He'd get pissed up, and no wonder he'd fight him on the beaches. He'd fight him anywhere.
Yeah.
See, there's an example of a posh bloke. It was like I was saying. He'd lead you into battle. He'd have a weapon too. He'd go in there. He didn't sit back. I mean, when he was old, he did. But nothing wrong with being posh if you're willing to go and, you know, get stuck in. What do you think, Carl?
Is it as scary though? I mean, imagine if he was rougher sounding, and he was on the front line. And,
Like he went, you fucking little cunt. I'll fight you on the beach. Look, see me down in Brighton Monday. I'm gonna fucking smack your head in, you little fucking German cunt. Like that, you mean?
Yeah.
Morale boost.
Well, that's the other point of one, isn't it? That those speeches were for as much as morale as information and defiance.
You don't want to feel like the leader of your country could glass you if you got on the wrong side.
No, exactly. It's got to be. It's got to be rules under war, hasn't it? I mean, that fair play has got to come into it as well. Talking of the English sense of fair play and war, when the crossbow was invented, a lot of people wouldn't use it. They said it was unchristian. So our soldiers sort of resisted it. So Europeans got this thing that needed no skill, and it was shooting these bolts, and they could reload quick. And versus our bowmen. What do you think of that? What do you think of going, oh, it's cheating, we won't use it, but having a disadvantage?
In a war.
That's honour, isn't it? It's almost like it's okay to kill someone, but with skill.
But what's the problem here? What am I meant to be worrying about?
Well, you've got bow and arrows.
Yeah.
They're amazing. They're heavy. They're your arms. They've got trained bowmen. They're skilled. The most skilled sort of marksman soldiers in the country. Someone comes along and goes, don't worry about that. Here's a crossbow. Just pop it in, put it back. Deadly, quick. Anyone can use it. So now you've got anyone with a crossbow killing people.
Women, children.
Anyone can use it. So the Europeans, they're going crazy. Oh, William Tell he's shooting apples off heads.
Yeah.
Right? But we resisted it because we thought it was, you know, unchristian and cheating to kill without skill. What do you think of that?
But where were the actual bows and that being made? Because that's the thing, isn't it? The company who's making them, they just want to get out to a big market.
Brilliant.
That's what they do now with the iPod and everything. It's not about people wanting more music than ever before. That's not the case. It's about having the accessory. And if the bow and arrow was like sold as this,
bow and arrow accessory?
light to carry for all the family, that's how it would have happened. That's what it's all about.
Ye new bow and arrow from Ronco.
But what do you think the problem is?
But you're not quite getting Ricky's point. His point is the idea of there being sort of rules and fair play and etiquette in war. The objective is to kill the enemy.
I don't think war and that is a place to start getting all uppity about someone cheating or having a better system.
Really? You think all fair in love and war, do you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Right, but
It's just about
rules,
winning.
isn't it?
No, not in a war. There isn't rules.
So what about things like the Geneva Convention? It's the understanding that even if we're entering into a war, theoretically, there's a set of agreed
It's good for both sides, isn't it?
Isn't that really, really freaky? You know, it's like, here's what you do. Listen, when you want to kill a whole bunch of people, here's a set of rules. Like, you're just going to kill a whole bunch of people. No one's going to pay attention to that. I mean, of all the fakest shit in the world, that has to be the fakest. You know, no one on earth who's interested in a war is going to pay attention to that. And there are transgressions to that thing, you know, all over the place. And what are they going to do? Oh, they release a statement saying blah, blah, blah. I mean, really, it's just, what is that? You know? Like, that's the most useless thing ever, in my opinion.
Fair play has got to come into everything.
What's extraordinary about the idea of English fair play is, you know, famously the approach during the First World War, that we would sort of walk up out of the trenches onto no man's land and sort of politely march at a slow, steady pace across towards the enemy. I mean, and then we were just being machine gunned down. I mean, it was absurd.
Well, I know we were fodder. It was fodder to use up some of their bullets. I mean, it was crazy.
I mean, it's madness. But in a way, it's the gentry who are leading us, seeing, you know, the average Tommy as a sort of cannon fodder.
Of course. And you know, you've got to realise that most of the people didn't want to be there. Most of them didn't even understand it. I mean, and if you think of the first and second, you know, they were just wars, you know. But I can't imagine what it'd be like.
Do you think, Karl, in a war situation? You've seen all those films of the.
I mean, that's the one they had a knockabout and stuff, didn't they? They took the game of football.
In no man's land, yeah. Christmas Day.
But who took a football there? If I was on the front line, I would not be getting out the rule book. I can tell you that much. I'd be going mental.
Are you saying there should be some rules or no rules?
I mean, you've got to have some rules, otherwise it's just going to be like Grand Theft Auto, isn't it? I'm just going to go about battering everyone. And you soon get bored of that.
Mm.
So I think you've got to have some rules.
Right.
Which rules would you repeal that already exist, that you don't like?
It's a shame you can't tip as much as you used to be able to.
You mean in a restaurant?
No, just when you're getting rid of a mattress or something.
So fly tipping, you'd like to see more fly tipping?
What do you mean? This is something so personal, he's fed up, he had to take something.
No, it's just that they used to put stuff outside the house. And just like, you had mattresses, you had sideboards, sewing machines. The thing is, it was a good way of recycling. Now, they say recycle, but we're not recycling. It's just being put in a bin.
So you'd like to see more fly tipping?
No, not...
That's all we need in London, more rubbish.
This is the problem, you see. Look what's happened. Look what's happened to what I've said. It's been taken the wrong way.
Right.
I'm not saying tip. I'm not saying chuck your bin bags out the door and let crisp packets go everywhere. I'm saying if you've got old furniture, you should be allowed to leave it outside your house without the council going, move that, it's dangerous, someone's going to trip over it.
Mm.
Well, if they trip over it, you should have been looking where they're going.
Well, what if they're blind?
What?
What if they're blind? That's why you don't leave things out in the pavement, because blind people will fall over them and smack their face in.
What if a woman with a couple of kids in pushchairs has to go out into the road to get past your piece of junk?
And get crushed?
No, because I'm leaving it. I'm not leaving it on the pavement.
Well, you just said you were. Where are you leaving it?
Sort of outside the house.
Right.
in your front garden. Well, who's going to take it from there? That's just thieving.
No, sort of. Just
Where are you leaving it? Where are you leaving it, Carl? You haven't established where you're leaving this yet. Because so far, a blind person's fallen over and broken his nose.
I've never seen a blind person trip over anything.
You've never seen a blind person trip over anything?
Definitely not. They're better on the feet than some people because they're more cautious, aren't they?
So
Make it more fun for them, if anything.
why can't you just have this stuff collected by a second-hand shop or
Because
send
they won't.
it to
They
a
don't come,
charity?
Steve.
They
Honestly, they don't.
They will.
I've called up people and they're saying, yeah, we'll be there in an hour. And I say, right, I'm going to put it out on the street. And are you going to come and get it? Yeah, we'll be there. An hour passes by. They haven't been. Suddenly the
blind people
council
all over
goes
the
past.
place. On the floor, bloodied noses.
Then the council said, I call them up, do you want to shift it? Well, we might, but don't know when. Well, it's outside the house now. Well, you can't leave it there. It's your responsibility. You'll have to stay with it. Suddenly I'm wasting time sat outside the house with rubbish that someone else might want. But you're not allowed to leave there because a blind person might come along. What's the dog doing?
What do you make of St. George, the patron saint? What's your take on that?
Is he the one who killed a dragon?
Right. Tell us the story.
There was a dragon problem. Must have been in England.
Right.
George took it on. He took on the job. He was like a rent-a-kill. He came out. The interesting thing with him is, right, he was a hero then. I honestly think if he did that now, there'd be an uproar. Because it's the last dragon. It's the same way we're trying to save the panda and all that now. If he came out and said, I've done it, and they've gone, done what? They've just killed the last dragon. They'd go mental. There'd be marches.
They would.
Idiot, bloody idiot. And that's what's interesting.
But it was going around burning people.
Doesn't matter. We shouldn't have killed the last one. It's the last one. And that's
No,
what we'd
but
be like. You say you
don't
should have
think-
saved it. You should have captured it and put it in a cage so we can all look at it.
There's
and
no
stuff.
point. You couldn't have bred anyway. It was the last one.
Was it definitely the last one?
Well, you're saying it was the last one. I'm not bothered either way.
Hang on,
to
what?
me,
Sorry,
hang on. Whoa.
So you think that there were dragons?
Well, what are we celebrating then?
Well, it could be a metaphor, a dragon slayer. It could be a bad thing amongst us. It could be a foreign threat. It could be things that threaten. It could be anything. It's not to be taken literally, is
But
it?
the real legend of George was that he was a figure who stood up for Christianity. Have
Doesn't
you ever
get-
done anything brave?
There was a kid at school who used to have epileptic fits a lot, and the teacher used to always say, if it happens, grab his tongue. And I sort of had a go
His
at
what?
that once. His tongue.
His tongue.
Yeah.
What do you have a tongue for? To pick stuff up? What do you mean a tongue?
His tongue in his mouth.
Oh, his tongue.
Oh, his tongue.
Yeah.
Right, go on.
And they used to say,
He's the English
if he starts doing it, grab his tongue and that. And I sort of had a go at that once, and it wasn't nice.
Well, how'd you grab it? You grabbed his tongue, did you?
Well, I tried to. It's like grabbing a slug. And plus his mouth's going up and down. That you think he's going to have me hand here? So you sort of do that thing where you go.
So you were trying to grab hold of a kid's tongue, yeah? And he was.
He's throwing himself all over the place. It was in a physics lesson. I sort of had a go, and then I thought, this isn't happening. So I just sort of kept putting my hand in, like I'm having a go. But in my head, I was going, I'm not going to get hold of it.
What you could have used is a pair of tongs.
Well, firstly, I don't see why this is brave. Kids have an epileptic fit and you're just supposed to help them out. I don't know why that's bravery, but even given that, the fact that you were thinking more about yourself in that situation than this other kid.
Maybe.
You were thinking, I'll make it look like I'm helping, but I'm not really. And yet this is kid having
Well,
an
I did
epileptic
at
fit.
the beginning,
Doesn't
I
that sum
tried.
you up, Carl? Selfish.
No, it doesn't. Because I didn't, no one else was having a go. At least I did try and grab it
You
at one
weren't doing
point.
anything. You were just making it look like you were.
Have you ever tried to grab a tongue? It's like chasing a chicken. It's murder. And after a while, it wears you out. And it was weird anyway, because it was like a
What was he doing it for?
I don't know.
Wearing him out after hours of chasing this kid's tongue.
I love the idea. Have you ever tried grabbing a tongue? It's a valid question.
I love that he's annoyed. He's annoyed that this
What
poor kid's having
was your
an epileptic fit.
technique? Were you trying to grab it sort of like...
just with your thumb and your finger, like a pincher thing.
Yeah.
But it was because his mouth's going down and
Was he shouting or just...
No, just throwing himself around.
So that's your one attempt at bravery.
Well, hang on a minute. Let me just think. It's
Trying to grab a tongue.
There was a time you were chased by a bee and you scored a goal.
What about that?
that isn't really bravery, is it? As you were running away from a bee and the ball happened to hit your foot and go in. Does that count as bravery? I love it when he goes up to the pearly gates and goes, well, have you done the act of courage? I pretended to grab a tongue. A what? A tongue. A tongue. Yeah. Got chased by a bee, scored a goal. It doesn't count as brave at all.
Well, what have you ever done?
Oh.
Well, it's a good question.
I thought of some of them when I was a kid on the beach. There was a baby, like a toddler. I was about 12, and they were out. Their little boat was going out. The mother missed it, and they were miles out, and the mother was sort of distraught. And I swam out, and I was a good swimmer then, and I pulled it in, right? And she bought me a box of chocolates.
It's not enough, is it?
What?
It's not enough, a box of chocolates. I'd have been furious.
Really?
I'd have wanted a lot more.
I didn't expect anything.
No, it was like when I found that old lady's purse and I sent it back to her, and she sent me a little thank you note, but nothing. No cash, nothing. I was furious. I thought, come on, I could have kept that purse. I sent it back to you. I need more than a little thank you note.
I didn't expect anything. I was sort of, I wasn't even particularly proud of myself, because I just thought, well, I could just do it. I mean, if it happened now, I'd go, what's in it for me? I've just eaten.
Exactly.
I'd go, is that your kid? They're miles away. Yeah. I've got less brave. I've got more scared of the world, yeah. The things I used to do, jump off sheds, I used to jump down flights of stairs to see if I could do it, walk along, you know, all those things that kids do. And you lose your nerve, I think, after. Apparently, if you haven't bungee jumped by your 30, you never will.
Really?
Yeah, you sort of. I think it's a sensible gene kicks in.
I'm pretty sensible.
Yeah, you think, well, this is not worth dying for. Don't do it. You know.
Yeah.
But
I think having glasses prevents me from doing a lot of things. No, seriously, because it's hard to be brave with glasses. Because if I stepped into the middle of a fight and there's people being bullied and I stepped in, my glasses come off, that's it. now I'm just being bullied as well. But I'm also blind in this, so I'm just crawling. It's very hard to strike fear into your opponents when you're crawling around on the floor looking for your frames, going, don't tread lightly, tread lightly. That's 200 quid there.
Oh God, I love that when you took up judo and you think you overheard the judo instructor say, just knock his glasses off.
Just knock his glasses off.
But who are you, Woody Allen? What are you doing in this scenario? Why are you stepping into the dojo wearing a pair of glasses?
Well, how am I supposed to do judo without, where am I supposed to
Well, they come off immediately.
But what am I supposed to do? Not do any form of martial art because of the glasses?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Actually, I haven't thought about that.
Exactly. This is the problem, isn't it? People don't think that. You never see boxers with glasses.
Well, of course you don't.
Right, exactly. So I got no kind of athletic role models in that way, except Dennis Taylor.
Oh God, a man with glasses, me and my glasses.
It's to tell you this, I could write a book on the difficulties of having glasses.
But I suppose it's completely affected your life, hasn't it?
It has.
Everything you do.
Of course it has.
Fashion.
Yeah. Sort of sport, dancing, moshing. Can't go in a mosh pit. Can't, you know, I've always wanted to jump on the stage, you know, take my shirt off and then jump back in and everyone catches you and they you sort of sway along on top of everyone's hands. Can't do it, the glasses would come flying off.
But how do you swim in the sea?
I'd have to hand them to the singer and then do it. I went to, I was in India recently, I went to Goa and I got myself a pair of prescription goggles. Could not believe my luck. It's revolutionised my swimming experience.
All right.
Goggles which have got the same lenses in as my glasses so I can see all right.
That's good.
Went in there. Literally, and they're pricey as well. Went in the water, within seconds, giant wave had come over, and it was crazy. It was like Rio all over again. It ripped off both my trunks and my goggles. They went flying off my head.
What?
Now, I can only grab one of them.
My trunks have never come off. Maybe once I've dived in, they come down a little bit.
They came loose, and they slipped down, thus revealing penis. Goggles came off.
I reckon you're like shorts, man. I think you've been doing it on purpose.
You know how most...
Tie your shorts up, Steve. No, I'm just going to see. But if they come off, if they come off, then you might see something.
You know how most swimming goggles would float? Yeah. My prescription is so dense that they just sunk straight to the bottom.
If I should die,
think of that?
think only this of me.
Oh.
That there's some corner of a foreign field that is forever England. There shall be in that rich earth a richer dust concealed, a dust whom England bore, shaped, made aware, gave once her flowers to love, her ways to roam, a body of England's breathing English air, washed by the rivers, blessed by sons of home. And think this heart, all evil shed away, a pulse in the eternal mind no less, gives somewhere back the thoughts by England given, her sights and sounds, dreams happy as her day, and laughter learnt of friends and gentleness, in hearts at peace, under an English heaven. Rupert Brooke, The Soldier. What an amazing poem that is.
Karl.
Yeah. It's a shame you read it, though.
Thanks for listening to the Ricky Gervais Guide to the English. That's it for a little while. 5 in that series of guides too.
Plenty to be going on with.
Plenty to be going on with. There's also the rest of the back catalogue as well, and we might do the odd free one, but we'll be back soon anyway with maybe another series of guides too. Who knows, Karl? Thoughts? I've enjoyed this. Have you?
Yeah, my favourite ones. I like learning stuff, you know that. If I can learn something and make a few quid, I'm happy.
Unlike the people who are listening to this who are down £2 and have learned absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And what they have learned from you is total bollocks. So, thanks. That's goodbye from me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Goodbye.
And Karl Pilkington.
Right.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, that was actually a good one. And I think it was a good one because maybe Karl had something to relate to, you know, just about the fact that being English, what it means to him. So that one I actually enjoyed. Like at the end, but I would read that poem. That's a weird ending. Usually they you know, they send it over to Karl, and that's the ending that you need. But like that, Steve always has an issue with Ricky's. You know, honestly, everyone in the world probably has an issue with Ricky's pronunciation. Oh, his reading. Oh my God! I mean, in here he's a little bit more pronounced, and like you can actually understand what he's saying. The XFM. Oh my God! So many times, like, what the fuck did Ricky just say? What the hell? What the hell is that? Like, he just eats all the words, you know? Like they're cheese. He eats all the words, and just leaves you with just a mashup of you know, mashed up sentences. I don't know, but yeah. This was a good one, and this must be the finale, I guess. Okay, so this is the end of series 1 or season 1. I don't know. I mean, okay, a lot of it I did actually remember. Quite a few chunks of it. Again, I've seen it in the animated version. They really took a lot from the animated version, but I love it when, like, I hear Ricky or Steve or Karl say something, and I remember it because I remember the animation. I mean, that's just a different way of viewing it, really. To me, it will always be that. You know, like, I'm listening here to... I realize this came before the animation, but to me, because I've seen the animation first, it's almost like as if I'm seeing, you know, like, just parts that are waiting to be animated. It feels like that to me. I don't even know why they left out so many parts. Some parts I know why. I mean, Ricky saying you couldn't be gay where he grew up. Probably they didn't want that on HBO. They probably left that out on purpose, you know. But there are parts where it's like, okay, you could have used that. You could have used that. It's a different thing altogether. You know, it's a different experience almost. So I see why. I see potential there for a lot of these clips. But it's nice. I'm just glad that they took, you know, like Karl, and they put him in a room and they actually dug deeper. That's interesting. It's so interesting to me always comparing the XFM to this, because Karl in XFM is anxious, you know. He's like, they're about to go to commercial. They need to play a song. Something went wrong. They're about to end the episode. You know, it's like Henry's humiliating him in public. You know, in public, on radio. It's just a different Karl, because that's the anxious Karl. And it's almost like this is almost like the drained Karl. It's like, yeah, you know, it's almost like he has no energy left. He still has the stories, but just the you know, the vibe on the show, on the XFM show is, come on, like he wants to go. He wants to put the next feature out. And here it's like, you know, let him keep talking, go deeper, and eventually he's gonna give you gold. It's nice. Karl has different versions. It's so weird. Well, this was nice. This was awesome, actually. I have enjoyed that, and I'm sure I will enjoy the remaining. I'm sure of it. That's it for now. Until next time. Bye.